opens with Fox News broadcasting what they assumed would be another easy night of political commentary, a stage where Trump could be elevated without resistance. But things took a sharp turn when unexpected developments forced the network into defensive chaos. The anchors, usually composed and rehearsed, began scrambling to piece together a narrative that made sense for Trump's supporters. Instead of the confident tone the audience was accustomed to, there was stammering, interruptions, and visible frustration. Viewers across the country could sense the shift, and social media lit up within minutes. Clips spread showing hosts talking over each other, desperately trying to spin the situation, but every attempt only amplified how rattled they were. The meltdown wasn't just about the news they were covering, it was about a network losing control of its message. Analysts invited on air contradicted the hosts in real time, pushing back on Trump's claims and leaving Fox personalities visibly agitated. The spectacle turned into a raw, unfiltered unraveling. For a network that prides itself on delivering sharp and confident narratives, this was something far different, a public unraveling in front of millions of Americans. It wasn't simply about defending Trump anymore, it was about Fox's credibility, being stripped away on live television, one misstep after another, until the meltdown became impossible to deny. What should have been a routine night turned into a defining moment where the cracks in the network's loyalty were laid bare for everyone to see. Episode 2 carries that tension forward as Trump himself appeared increasingly cornered by events, spiraling beyond his control. The network that usually served as his shield seemed unprepared to handle the weight of his struggles. Fox tried to steer the conversation in his favor, but rival commentators on other platforms and even a few daring analysts on Fox itself dismantled his arguments with precision. Every defensive spin the hosts attempted was quickly countered with facts that left Trump looking more vulnerable than ever. For viewers, it was striking to see the former president, a man used to commanding the narrative, suddenly on the defensive with little room to maneuver. His usual strategies of deflection and attack didn't land the same way, and Fox's attempts to amplify his talking points fell flat. The more they tried, the more obvious it became that they were running out of ground to stand on. Trump's body language and tone, replayed across social media, gave the impression of someone who knew the walls were closing in. What once felt like dominance was replaced by hesitation, as if every word was weighed, but none delivered the knockout punch he needed. For Fox, the effort to keep the illusion alive only deepened the spectacle of his cornered state. Millions watched as both Trump and his most loyal media ally stumbled, trying to recover footing that no longer seemed solid. The episode marked a shift in perception, where the once unshakable image of Trump's control began showing visible cracks, and Fox News could do nothing to stop it. Unfolds with Fox News beginning to show the internal fractures that had long been whispered about but rarely seen in public. Inside the newsroom, producers, anchors, and commentators clashed over how far they should go in defending Trump after his missteps were exposed. On air, that tension seeped through the polished presentation. Some hosts doubled down, repeating Trump's talking points and attacking his critics, while others cautiously distanced themselves, hinting that the network could not ignore the growing backlash. What was supposed to be a united front started to feel like a divided battlefield. Viewers could see the split in real time, one anchor visibly irritated with another, interviews cut short when guests refused to toe the line, and moments of awkward silence when a comment crossed an invisible boundary. The once synchronized voice of Fox now sounded like a house divided, and the cracks spread quickly. Social media captured every awkward pause, every exchange that revealed frustration behind the smiles. The network, for years seen as Trump's most reliable ally, was now struggling to find consensus on whether to continue standing firmly behind him or prepare for a future where his dominance might fade. For the audience that had relied on Fox for clarity, the confusion came off as betrayal. Instead of certainty, they saw hesitation and contradiction, fueling anger among the loyal and satisfaction among critics. Episode 3 revealed that Fox wasn't just reporting on Trump's troubles, it was living through its own. Episode 4 took that division and threw it into the spotlight with brutal force as Trump appeared on live coverage and found himself visibly outmatched. The sharpness of his opponents, the clarity of their arguments, and the pressure of the moment left him struggling to respond with his usual confidence. For the first time in years, Trump didn't appear like the master of the stage, but as someone grasping for control. Fox attempted to spin the moment, cutting away reframing statements, and giving favorable commentary, but none of it could erase what millions had just seen. Analysts outside the network seized on every hesitation and every misstep, and Clips spread faster than Fox could react. Even some of the anchors on Fox, though careful with their words, acknowledged that Trump had not delivered his strongest performance. The contradictions in tone between anchors who tried to shield him and those who admitted his weakness only made the spectacle more glaring. Trump, known for dominating any room he entered, looked vulnerable under the harsh light of live television. The energy he once commanded now worked against him, as his opponents fed off his faltering rhythm and built their arguments with confidence. For his critics, it was confirmation of what they had long claimed, that Trump was not invincible. For Fox, it was a nightmare unraveling in real time, as their usual tactics of control no longer masked the reality. By the end of the broadcast, the image of Trump's dominance had been pierced, and Fox News stood exposed as a network unable to fully protect the figure it had spent years elevating. Begins in the aftermath of the disastrous broadcasts, where the fallout becomes impossible to contain. Fox News, once seen as the unwavering fortress for Trump, now faces anger from multiple directions. Loyal viewers accuse the network of failing to defend him strongly enough, while critics point to the on-air meltdowns and divisions as proof that Fox has lost its grip. The backlash grows online, with hashtags trending that question Fox's credibility and highlight the cracks that had been revealed. For a network that thrived on appearing in control of the narrative, the chaos is both humiliating and damaging. Executives scramble to do damage control, issuing statements that attempt to unify their position, but the divisions are too public to hide. Every host, every analyst seems to have a slightly different take, and the result is confusion rather than clarity. Viewers who once tuned in for certainty are now left questioning whether Fox is still the strong voice it claimed to be. Trump, on the other hand, emerges from the ordeal more battered than before. The perception of him being outmatched sticks in the minds of both his supporters and his critics. For his opponents, it becomes a rallying cry, proof that the former president can be confronted and defeated in the spotlight. For his allies, it sparks frustration and even panic, as the man they believe to be untouchable now looks vulnerable. Behind the scenes, political operatives whisper about strategy shifts and how to repair the damage. But the reality is clear. The image of strength has been shaken. Even Trump's usual attempts to spin the moment on social media fail to erase the raw clips that continue to circulate. Memes, headlines, and late-night monologues pile on, amplifying the sense of a man and a network both struggling to recover. The backlash against Fox only intensifies as rival networks seize the opportunity to mock the meltdown. Segments play side by side, showing the contradictions between Fox hosts, the awkward silences, and the desperate attempts to reframe Trump's missteps. Competitors describe it as the moment the shield broke, the instant where Fox could no longer control the narrative it had built around him. For viewers outside Fox's loyal base, it is entertaining, almost gleeful, to watch the giants stumble. For Fox executives, it is a nightmare scenario playing out in public view. Advertisers begin to question the stability of the brand, and producers find themselves pressured to restore a sense of control. But the truth is that the damage has been done. By the end of episode 5, both Fox News and Trump are left standing in a weaker position than before. The aura of invincibility surrounding their partnership has cracked, and no amount of spin can fully repair it. What was once a relationship built on dominance and control now feels fragile, shaken by a single series of events that exposed vulnerabilities too obvious to ignore. The fallout lingers, leaving open questions about whether either Trump or Fox can ever return to the iron grip they once held over the public narrative.